I vividly recall the smell of burnt coffee from the break room that morning. Mondays usually had a weight to them, but this one felt different. Thick. The kind of thick air you get right before a thunderstorm rolls in. I was halfway through my regular checklist, supply reports, shipping predictions back in logistics, when my assistant walked in. "Mr. Grant, Trent wants to see you," she said, but not like she normally did. There was something in her voice, something in her face. Trent never looked me in the eye. He hurried out of the room as soon as she walked in. That alone told me something wasn't right. He called me to the top level. And that wasn't just a check-in. When someone from operations gets summoned upstairs, it's either to be given orders or to have credit stolen. And with Frederick still recovering from surgery, I had a feeling this wouldn't be a friendly conversation. I walked the long corridor to the executive wing, straightened my tie, took a deep breath, and stepped through the open boardroom doors. Trent was already seated at the head of the table like he owned the space. His back was straight, fingers tapping the wood in a forced rhythm. A man trying to mimic power, he wore that arrogant smile, the kind frat boys practice in the mirror. And sitting off to the side, like a queen mother observing her heir, was Evelyn. "Ah, Silas," Trent said, his voice soaked in fake charm. "Come in, take a seat." I didn't. I stood. He leaned back, laced his fingers. "Let's not waste time," he said. "You're being dismissed, effective immediately. No explanation, no warning, just a professional-sounding slap in the face." I blinked slowly. He grinned like he'd rehearsed this moment 100 times. I said nothing, even as he added, "Mom's been saying for months that you were only here because your father-in-law pitied you, that this was always charity." I studied his face. The flicker near his eye, the way his throat pulsed. He wasn't as confident as he acted. He was bluffing. I whispered, "Calm down, steady, you'll regret this." And his smile wavered. Only for a second, but it returned, sharper now, driven by anger. "You think you can threaten me?" he sneered, and slapped me, just like that. I didn't move, didn't flinch. 2 security officers burst in on cue, like they'd been waiting outside the door the whole time. Trent waved his hand, almost bored. "Escort him out." They paused, probably confused. Why was the director of operations being hauled out mid-Monday? But orders were orders. They grabbed me like I was some intruder, not the man who'd kept this company running for the past 5 years. Dozens of eyes watched as I was marched across the main floor. No one said a word. And then I saw her, Marielle, in that red coat she loved. Standing by the marketing wing, tablet in hand, she saw my face. She saw the guards, and her eyes didn't widen. Her mouth didn't open. She watched me like a stranger. That told me everything. I didn't resist. Didn't argue. As we passed through open lounges and elevator banks, I caught my reflection in every glass surface. I didn't see a man who lost. I saw a man who endured. By the time we reached the front doors, I adjusted my collar and stepped into the wind. They locked the doors behind me. The sting from Trent's slap still fresh, but it was nothing compared to the fire now burning in my chest. I took out my phone. It buzzed. Logistics and finance. Wondering why I hadn't answered. Their emails, I replied calmly, "We'll update you soon." Then I walked. Not to the parking lot, not to the train. 3 blocks east. To a quiet building that looked like an old insurance firm. No sign, no receptionist. Just a keycard scanner. I tapped mine. The door opened. They didn't know about this place. It was mine. Set up years ago with Frederick. He once told me, "You'll need a space where you don't have to act small." He was right. I walked in, closed the door, and let the silence wrap around me like armor. They thought I was just the quiet operations guy, the lucky son-in-law, but they didn't know about the legacy clause. They didn't know about the silent 40% stake. The legal protections Frederick and I put in place to keep this company safe from them. Let them laugh. Let them celebrate. Let them think they won, because they don't realize. This was just the beginning. Betrayal doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it walks in on soft shoes, and while they toast their little coup upstairs, I sit here looking out at the city, a silent smile forming. They never asked why I never brought my family around, why I drove a modest car, why I didn't chase credit. It's because I had a plan from day one, and they gave me everything I needed. Now I watch the company they tried to steal, still held together by the man they cast out because I wasn't. Just part of the foundation. I was the foundation, and they're about to find out. What happens when the quiet one finally speaks? Frederick, that sentence didn't land like words. It landed like thunder. The company gasped. Real ones. He retrieved a file from the leather folio behind his arm, revealing pages with rustling autographs, observed seals. 3 years ago, I discreetly gave him the shares as a backup plan for just this sort of bullshit. He not only has equity, he has voting power, almost equal to yours. They later told me Trent's face turned ghost white. All the color, gone. You could hear his breath catch as he stumbled over a statement about misunderstanding and ignorance. But Frederick wasn't finished. I gave you 3 weeks to take charge, he said, and in just 2 days you insulted the man who supplies you. Chain running damages your brother-in-law's reputation and undermines departmental trust. Then, he turned to the board members. Let me be clear, he continued. Silas Grand is not merely remaining. He is now one of us, and going forward, his quiet should not be seen as submission. Some of them tried to backtrack, whispering weak support statements. But the meeting didn't last long. They had always held me in high regard, and I understood. Loyalty only occurs when it's secure. Trent tried to barge into my office later that day, but he failed. I wasn't upset with them. I simply didn't need them anymore. Security didn't stop him. He stopped himself. Standing in front of the S. Grant private executive entrance, staring at a nameplate he had never seen before, he realized something. I had been here the entire time. This wasn't a return tale. This was checkmate. Before the conference had even concluded, the phone began to ring. I ignored it. Let it vibrate against my desk as I sifted through my backlog of messages. 10. Calls. 10 minutes. Same number. Trent.